Hi, welcome back. My name is Ben.
And I am Chris.
And we are SuperCoach Insider.
Yep.
Today's episode, we are covering the Collingwood team analysis. Please,
My boys, get in there.
Bear with Chris. This episode is sponsored by Forex Gold.
Unfortunately, we're down to...
It's cheap, it's nasty, it's overpopulated, much like Collingwood. I think it suits.
Pretty much, yeah. No, look, I don't actually ever drink
suits.
this. It's just the last thing that we have. So don't judge us. Please don't judge us.
Please don't judge Chris for what he's about to do.
No, we're good.
Forgive.
We're good.
Please forgive.
Now, before we start, I think it's only fair that we really start with the most important of important things. So, without further ado, we're going to be playing the highlights of the preliminary final from last year. Oh, isn't this great? All right.
You're just trying to hurt Swizz. That's all you're trying to do.
Oh, what a game it was, though. Didn't everyone just have a fantastic time?
Oh, Cox had a great game.
Oh,
that was good.
The old Big Mason. Oh.
They out pressured Richmond. Yes, fair enough.
Yeah, the only place he's better is on Twitter.
Actually,
Follow him
Chris,
on Twitter. He's
I
actually
believe
hilarious.
this is my segment. I believe you can just shut up.
I'll calm down.
Wonderful.
I'll watch the highlights. I'll just comment.
Yeah, you do what you do and enjoy your premature win.
Of course he's going to roll around and he's right there. Oh, what a snap.
That was a great goal.
Get in
De Goey. Anyway, so let's look at their draw quickly. According to Champion Data, they have the hardest draw, which means I would like to stay off Collingwood as much as I can.
Oh, fair enough. I mean,
they
were benefited. They did have an easy draw last year because
Yes.
they came 13th. They did benefit from that highly. They made top four. They made the grand final. But they made the grand final playing the hardest teams that they could. So, you can't say that they're not a good team.
So the first four includes Geelong, Richmond, West Coast Eagles, and the Western Bulldogs, all at the G. So a tough start.
The fifth one should be a win, though. Am I right?
Probably.
They played Brisbane.
No. I was like, who are they playing? I was like, probably.
Thanks for the setup, Pa. You're right.
Yeah, right. So the round 16 to round 19 is also a very hard run. So they have the Hawks, then they verse West Coast away, GWS away, and then Richmond back at home.
Yep.
I think they play a majority of their games, like 16 games at the MCG. That being said, I think it's going to be a very successful year for Collingwood in the bank. I think they're going to make, with a lot of prime time, a lot of Thursday night footy, a lot of Friday night footy, they're going to make so much money this
Memberships
year.
are going to go through the roof.
So much money.
Yeah.
And then it's going to fall through because they're going to lose a lot of games. So I think it'll be profitable, a good year.
They're not missing the 8, though, right?
I think
Really?
they could. Western Bulldogs did it. And they won a premiership. What more do you want?
I think that they've improved their list.
Nothing's given.
So they've improved their list. They've got they've filled gaps with their trade-ins. We'll see what happens. But
Well, it depends. They do play well at the G. I think they could do well. They should be in the 8, especially with Dane Beamson, that sort of thing, coming into the fold. They did keep Langdon. They did keep De Goey, which is awesome for them.
Yep.
They would have been in trouble if they didn't. Realistically, they're just another year away from getting rid of Greenwood, getting rid of Maine, and actually freeing
by
up
the way, Maine, like back up last year,
he
played brilliant football.
Well, he did. He played
brilliant football.
Well, you got to earn your keep 1 year out of every 3, don't you? So,
Yeah, exactly right. Justified his paycheck in 1 year.
Whereas Greenwood, which we'll get to in a second.
I think he'll go.
Anyway, we'll get to that in a second. Round 13 buys, as we said, they share the middle buy round with Brisbane, Geelong, Melbourne, Sydney, and West Coast.
Tough buy round to navigate.
Very, very tough. 45-9. What a start. Mason Cox. 51-9.
It's that time where we've just praised the Cox.
And the funny thing is, this is on full screen, so we can't even see the chat. Swizz is probably just getting so angry.
Sorry.
He's getting so angry.
We'll get to the chat. We'll get to it after the highlights package.
You will cop some abuse.
Oh, totally worth it. Look at Jackie Crisp had a brilliant game. I think he got 153 SuperCoach that game.
Good thing premierships aren't won in the prelim, hey Chris?
No, they definitely aren't. But look, as I said, I was surprised just to be there.
So were West Coast. Anyway, cracking game. Look, I'm going to start with rookies tonight. I don't think there are too many rookies that are relevant for Collingwood, simply for the fact that they are loaded up with talent. It's going to be pressed for positions, and I think they've got so much experience that you're not going to really blood too many young guys.
There's many guys coming back from injury too.
Yeah, exactly. Like Reed,
Wells, Jamie Elliott,
yeah,
Darcy Moore.
I think it's going to be pressed for positions. I think those that...
Lyndon Dunn's going to push halfway through
those that, if they get an opportunity, it might be for a game or two, or they already got their games last year because they did have injury concerns, so they're already heavily priced. So I think it's lose-lose. I think Isaac Quaynor, how do you say it? Quaynor?
Could someone tell us in the chat how to pronounce it? Quaynor?
Like, what's that stuff you put
in what's that
stuff you put in healthy food? It's
acai? I don't know.
No, it's anyway, Quaynor, I don't know, who knows. It's some vegan crap. No idea.
I definitely wouldn't know. No idea. Who knows?
Anyway, so I digress. He's 153k defender.
Yep.
First round draft pick likened to Jason Johannesson for his speed and the ability to take game on. And
however, it's also probably because of his hair.
And many believe he's ready to step into the senior team should an opportunity arise, which is probably the main part of that. Especially with the ASADA drug testing hanging over Sam Murray.
Yep.
They could actually be using him. Possibly. Hold on, Chris. I know you have an opinion here. He averaged 419 metres gained in the Under-18 Championships and was ranked second in the competition, which was rated elite for contested possessions. So watch his preseason form.
Yeah. Just so you know, we just got a new follower on Twitch, ZJ Fisher. So maybe you're Zach Fisher?
Ooh.
Maybe Zach Fisher's watching us at the moment. So yeah, mate, how's your season going to go? Thanks for
someone just created an account to mess with us.
Yeah, right. Look, so here's the thing about Quaynor and why I think he might play round one is that they just don't have his type of player.
Yes.
They had him in Sam Murray, and he's not playing this year, and he probably won't play for another 2 years. So I think he's gone.
What was his rating for?
Cocaine on match day cocaine. like the most dumbest thing you can do. I mean, at least Mumford had the good sense to do it when he's retired, or potentially not when he's retired, but a long time ago that didn't really count. His type of player. Now, he's not necessarily going to be a great SuperCoach player, but I think he can average 50 or 60 in his first season, which is what you want, right? That's pretty much all you want.
The highlights are still going.
They are still going. It's still going. Oh, look at that. Mason Cox is happy. Oh, look at that. Oh, what an absolute smashing, by the way. 97.
Richmond are going to be minor premiers again this year.
All right. We'll get out of this and we'll move into... we'll transition over here.
Bring the chat back up so I can see the abuse here.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so I do think that there could potentially be a spot, even a round one spot, for someone like IQ. That's why I'm calling him from now on, in case you're wondering.
IQ would be a smart decision.
Yeah.
153k, so not the cheapest rookie. And...
so it will depend, but I think you've got a bit of flexibility in defence this year. Let's see how he goes in the JLT before we pass judgment, but definitely someone that I'm looking at, and he's heavily on my radar so far.
Oh, Treloar. We will get to Treloar. Okay, so I'll move into the premiums first of all. Brodie Grundy, the big 1-2 ruck combo. It's a very expensive start.
It is.
Are you game enough to start both with that many cheap secondary options?
Gawn and Grundy, you mean?
Yeah.
No, I don't think you can.
I don't think you can either.
Well, but if you're going to lock one in, it has to be Grundy, right? He's younger. He's more dynamic. There's no one that's going to impact his ruck time. He's the new ruck rules. He's an absolute brute. Here's some interesting stats about Brodie Grundy in this ridiculous year that he had. He ranked 7th in the league for contested possessions as a ruckman. 7th in the league.
I like how you just...
how many midfielders are in the comp right now being like, oh yeah, but Brodie Grundy's averaging more than me. 10th for clearances, 13th for tackles, 10th in score involvements, and 2nd in hitouts.
You're right.
That's why he averaged 130.
Yes.
And he's only 25.
But
he's 25.
Hard draw.
Turning 25.
They have a hard draw, Chris.
I don't think it matters to Brodie. I don't think it matters to him at all whether or not he's playing a hard ruckman or because it's a ruckman v ruckman, not a team versus team. He's getting 140s, 150s in losses. That's the thing. Now, the only thing that I can see, if I'm looking like literally massive crystal ball and saying, oh well, okay, what's possibly going to affect him? Jordan Roughhead. So we recruited Jordan Roughhead in the off season, but I think you're right. I think he'll actually play more.
They've already said defending.
Yeah.
So
we probably need to. I think there's probably an echo. Can you close that door?
Echo.
Is there an echo here? Echo. I actually think honestly that he will play in defence. Whether or not he plays defender ruck. That's something that I'm interested in. I don't know what the dynamic there's going to be because
if you're worried about Necker, Chris, maybe you should stop yelling.
That's also true. But is Jordan Roughhead playing defender ruck, or is Cox still playing forward ruck? Because what I do know is that they do want to have Cox at forward as much as possible because he's such an impact down there. But he's also so tall that he was having some really great hit-outs at times.
That's fair.
But he just doesn't understand the game well enough, in my opinion, to play ruck on a more permanent basis.
Here's what's going to happen, Chris, is none of the other rucks are relevant in defence or forward. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think they have a tough draw. So for me, yes, I do like Grundy. Max Gorn probably has more injury issues than Grundy previously.
Yep.
So I guess he gets the nod for that.
Consistency is massive with Grundy as well.
Yeah, so
in terms of games play, he's on the park.
Hard draw though, I don't know. But Melbourne have a fairly hard draw also, but it depends on coins. If you're about 10 grand short, then maybe not. But anyway, the next one I've got on my list is Treloar. Had a very, very good year.
And shout out to our new follower, Fisher. Mr. Fisher. So he just said thoughts on Treloar for first C, and I've got some great stats on Treloar this year.
I do like Treloar. I tried to get Treloar in my side. I tried to give up Ollie Wines and Pierce Hanley to get Treloar, which I thought was a great buy. Didn't work out, obviously.
No, because you pulled 2 hamstrings simultaneously. Which no one's ever... Apparently, the injury was so rare that seeing it happen, people were just like, I don't understand. He was literally... and he gets... he sprints. He's not one to shy away from running down the wing. A little bit like Mohamed Salah.
He should have just fallen over.
He did. He tried
to hold on.
He fumbled the ball and tried to keep his feet, and both hammies went on the extension, and he just laid on the ground. It looked like he was cramping, and then he was going to come back on. They're like, "Nah, we shouldn't, just in case," because it was late in the fourth quarter. I think he was already on 95 SuperCoach when he did it. So he was averaging 109 before that, which is just stupid. But he came back for the finals and was massively underdone. He only averaged 78.75 over the 4 games in the finals.
Ooh.
So that's concerning. Now, he's not the only pie mid that underperformed in the finals, but he is definitely one of them. I think he'll be pretty unique. He's 594k. I don't know many people that are going to be running him in standard. So as an option that could average 110k, if you've got that and you're going, say, him or Neil, he could be a massively unique option. And he's got the potential to push 115. I'm not doing it, but I can see people doing it.
I'm just laughing at your fun facts here.
My fun facts? I've got a fun fact.
You've got who they're dating.
I do. So
why do people care who they're dating?
Well, I care. So because I follow him on Twitter, on Instagram, Twitter, and basically everything. Great guy. He's actually been at the NBA watching the Lakers the last few days, and he just flew back from the States. But he's dating a girl called Kim Revellion. She plays for the Australian netball team and the Magpies netball team. I think it's funny, a lot of the players are dating some of the girls from the netball team. One of the funny ones is Mason Cox was actually dating Shani Layton, who was in the Magpies netball team and played for Australia. And he broke up with her and started going out with Jiva Mentor, who replaced her position. So not only was she replaced at the Magpies, replaced by Mason Cox.
Jeez.
Oh, that's hilarious. Good on you, mate.
Jeez. Although the plus side is, dating Mason Cox, you can wear the biggest heels you like.
Well, she's pretty tall too. She's a goalkeeper.
Oh, really?
So,
yeah. I was going to say, you'd never have an issue of...
and she's British.
I can't wear heels with you because you're tall, you're too small.
You're not going to have an issue.
No, you don't have an issue.
No. So
you could go out a date in a cherry picker.
Yeah.
And you'll be fine. Oh.
I do think he's a viable option, but I will say that it's more of a... what's it called when you have someone instead of the other one?
Replacement?
No, unique. It's a unique instead of a Lockie Neal or someone who like a Zach Merritt. which unfortunately is $50,000 less.
My only concern with picking Collingwood players is that there's so many good midfielders that who's going to get the points, or are they going to rotate through? Yes, Treloar's awesome, but. I think maybe they'll be so packed that Adams might actually push into defence a little bit more, or will they push Pendlebury into defence more and get Adams more in the midfield?
I'm interested to see where Pendles goes, and he's actually next to my list. And you're right, I actually think Pendles will have a role change massive this year.
Well, he's next on my list.
Okay, fair enough. We'll go through your list then.
Chris is hijacking this.
Sorry, mate. So tell me all about Scott Pendlebury. Tell me all. You think he'll have a role change?
I just don't know what to do anymore. I get the Collingwood segment. I was going to rattle off my names and I was going to let Chris come in with some of his statistics, and now he's going off his list.
No, it's okay.
And the hijack. No, that's fine. Pendlebury. I actually really like Pendlebury. I think with the amount of quality mids and young mids, I think they'll let them do the bulk of the work, and he'll be the polish, the panache.
Panache. I like that word.
Yeah.
Panache.
Is it made up?
Well,
so he could push into defence more. Adams could push into defence more. I need to see how they're going to work because they have so many options.
It renders him useless as a mid option in standard, doesn't it?
I think it does.
And in draft, his value diminishes.
Yes.
Like if people are taking,
I love Pendlebury, but I think they're going to let these other guys do the
other
bulk.
People will take him.
Yeah, other people will take the heavy lifting, and Pendlebury will be the polish, and I think that could affect him. If he plays as a defender, and they actually try and get the ball into his hands and he's a bit more loose, he could go 105 plus.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
It's I need to see how they work.
And they have a ready-made replacement. One of the great things is they've got Braden Sire sitting right there. Played a lot of the games, played the finals even, and he just looks like he's ready. His type they didn't have, and they were grooming two. They were grooming Braden Sire and they were grooming Rupert Wills. Both those big body inside midfielders to take over from Pendles when he retires. And I think Sire's now, at the time, he played, I think, the last 9 games of the season and all of the finals. He's ready. So I think that when it comes to lining up in the midfield, round 1, I think Sire's going to be right there alongside Treloar and probably Taylor Adams in the midfield. So we'll see how that pans out. What happens with Pendles, though, I'm not sure. He's played behind the ball, he's played in front of the ball. Both of them didn't set the world on fire. He's not really fast enough to play on a wing.
No, he's just got amazing hands. So really, he'd be better off.
So does that mean what does he do?
He'd be better off being in the guts initially and then pushing behind the ball once the game goes on.
So taking his clearance and then
getting the clearance, getting the clean hands to someone in space, so you can set up a side bottom or set up someone else, and then
similar
push
to
back.
a Dusty that goes in there for the centre clearance and then just pushes forward.
Yeah. So if you don't win or pushes back. So if you don't win the centre clearance, you then move on.
Yep.
But I think he's so good to be able to get the ball and have that spatial awareness from the basketball background to be able to actually hit that handball. Yeah, and I do like Treloar. He's averaged 111 previously, but then he's also dropped down to like a 99 average. So I like Treloar, but I'm not. You can't.
And it's 600k, right?
You can't pick any of them with conviction.
Yeah,
you just can't.
I agree.
Like, any of them's a good pick.
They all have questions.
Correct.
They all have questions.
Every single one of them.
There's one that doesn't.
Dane Beams.
Oh, man.
I knew it. I'll let you take this over.
No,
because I'm too butthurt. You take this over.
All right. Well, look. I'll tell you what. I didn't think that they would, and we don't really need Dane Beams. The one person who's upset is Jordan De Goey. Yeah. Because he massively takes his mid time. And what do you think he might play? 30% forward, 70% mid, or what combination is he going to play?
Beams or
Beams?
60-40?
60-40, you reckon? So
I think he'll play a lot more half forward because he averages more than a goal a game. Anyway,
he does. He's a goal kicker.
He's a goal kicker. So I think it's okay for him to go in there, have the impact, and then rest forward. The thing I like, though, is Beams won't have to get injured.
Yep.
Trying to out-muscle things. He'll get in there, smash it, get the ball, get out, have a rest, go forward, kick some goals. Happy days.
He can take it easy. He's got a midfield.
But I think the flow-on effect between Beams and Pendlebury's in relation to, like side bottom then goes out more to the wing and gets the outside ball. You have...
which actually I think helps him, just so you know.
Well, so do I. But
he actually averaged more when he was outside.
But then that flows on to then Phillips, and that flows on to Sear, Sire, or however you say it.
I don't know how it is, Sire.
I don't know how you say it. But it has a flow-on effect. So as in, yes... it could be good for Sear or Sire or, please, Mr. Sire, sir.
I think he starts on a half-forward flank, rotating through midfield, but I'm not sure how many minutes he gets.
But Dane Beams just scores well.
He scores anyway. He kicks goals. He kicked 6 goals in that one game that he got robbed, by the way.
He scores.
So here's the interesting thing. It looks like he didn't average well. I think he averaged about 100. But if you look at how he scored, from round 6, so counting... This is interesting. So from the first 5 rounds, doesn't have Daniel Rich.
Horrible.
Had a horrible start to the year. From round 6, Daniel Rich comes back. He averages 110 for the rest of the season.
Yep.
So
Andy was having issues with his father and his emotions.
That's also true.
Up and down,
100%.
And back in Collingwood, around the rest of his family, his girlfriend's family.
Yep. He's now in Collingwood. He's never going to get a tag.
And he'll be happy.
Can you imagine tagging him out of that midfield?
No, but if you come out and say that your heart's always bled Collingwood, you went away to spend time with your family. Now
you
you're
were
back.
so hurt by that.
I was hurt.
That video he put out is like, I'm going to cry about it.
He could have waited.
No, he couldn't.
That's like breaking up. It's like breaking up with somebody, saying, "Oh, by the way,
here's my new girlfriend. I'm gonna
No.
my old girlfriend.
Yeah, my old girlfriend. We broke up at 6 p.m. and at 6:30 p.m. I'm releasing a press conference to say I'm still in love with my ex-girlfriend. I'm moving back into her house.
To be fair,
our house.
To be fair, she's hotter.
To our old house. Did you set me up then? Was that a classic setup?
Too good.
Anyway, look, I think bless him. Actually, no, I'm not going to bless him because he plays for Collingwood. But look, I hope he does well. I think he will be happy there and he should be able to enjoy his football. And if he's happy, Dane Beams kills it. So I think he's a good option for draft in particular. Standard, I don't think.
This is the thing. Like this is 557k, averaged 110 from round 6 onwards.
I'd rather upgrade
without it, with no attention, with the attention on different mids.
I think I'd rather upgrade. I don't know, or see how he goes, and then
could be a mid-season upgrade.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I will watch his role in the JLT. But I'll tell you what, if I can pick him up at mid 2, I'm gonna. You had me at hello.
Yes, but don't forget, I also started Dan Beams in standard this year. Gone.
Did you? Oh yeah. Well, because the first 5 rounds.
Because Dangerfield was out and he did horrible.
Fair enough. This leads in. We had this conversation to Sidebottom. What happened? Because Sidebottom obviously moved inside last year.
Yes, 551k midfielder.
Yep.
I don't think you can put him in standard. I think he had an awesome year in draft and he'd be draft worthy. I think you know what you're getting with him. I think he's a solid player, but he could average you anywhere between 100 and 112. You don't
know. Yeah, that's the thing.
You don't know.
Yeah.
So if you're picking him up at a true average, I think he's a great player, and I love watching Sidebottom play.
Yeah.
But he had such a good year.
He also got tagged this year.
Yeah.
First time he's been tagged in his entire career.
Where do you go from there?
He's damaging. Those tags reflected on his scoring. He had some really, really big games, and then he had some really, really stupid games, and he ended up averaging only just over 100, which is, he's averaged 111 before.
Yes.
So he has got a lot bigger when he's played on a wing, when he's played on a half-forward flank. So
he's still pretty young, isn't he? He's not old.
He's 28-ish. Yeah. He's in his prime of his career now.
Yeah, could be.
So he could be... Look, I don't think he plays inside this year.
No, I think he's outside.
I think he plays more outside.
He's outside with Phillips.
Well, I agree. And so, is he then underpriced?
I don't know.
Is it? It's not. Again, question mark, right?
I like him.
You don't have enough confidence to say, "Yep, in standard he's going to be my man." But I can take a punt on him in draft for sure.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you buy him in draft, you expect if he's only 100, that's fine. You can buy him and expect to at least get that 100. But if he was over that, I wouldn't feel that confident picking him up at a 108 to 110 average to hold it. You know, you just got to be happy with what you get.
Well, I mean,
so I'd be happy.
It goes without saying. I mean, he had his highest ever Brownlow vote getting year. So his best football year, in my opinion. He played his best football.
Yes.
But he also had his second lowest return in the SuperCoach since 2012. So it just didn't reflect because he got tagged, because he got so much more attention. So if he's inside, I wouldn't choose him. If he's playing more outside in the JLT, I might. But I think there's better options at his price, including Dane Beams for 3k, 6k more. You get Dane Beams. So standard, no. Draft,
yes,
yeah, I'm gone.
And I'm going to actually let you take next one on my list is Taylor Adams. You actually brought him into your standard side, Chris.
I did.
Yes,
I did, and it kind of burnt me, but it kind of didn't. Because he did score really well over the time. But
are we blessed in that you're only going to show footage of what you have already? You haven't chosen any player footage that you want to show?
I could if you want.
Oh, no,
I'm
good. I was just checking.
Let's get a read. Can we get a read?
Do the Pies go Grundy, Sire, Treloar, Sidey, Beams, Phillips, so Pendles, Adams both go halfback? That's what we were just thinking.
Yeah.
Good old Swizz. Yeah, I think Adams and Pendlebury could push
one on
a bit
the bench
back.
and rotating through as well. You've got to remember that. So
yeah. Well, I think they're both really good users from the back line. I think Adams would be awesome. Adams
hates himself. That goal from Elliot Yeo that he kicked in the runner, didn't get in the way. He hates himself.
Yep. I think Adams would be a good option.
Adams is actually one of the most underrated options of the year. And it's interesting that he falls into the same price point as a Zorko and a Merritt. And I think all three of these players need serious consideration. However, no one's looking at Taylor Adams. No one.
And I know we don't really play it, but fantasy football, if you're in draft for that league, I would be looking at Taylor Adams at least you know you're going to get a pretty good value out of him. He gets a bit of the ball, but there's a chance that he could go defender status.
The year after?
No.
Oh, you mean keeper
fantasy football, they change it throughout the year.
Mid-year.
Yeah. So it's not that I advocate fantasy football because we are 100% SuperCoach Insider, but for that kind of option.
I don't play AFL Fantasy Football. Stupid.
You have?
I did. Yeah. I don't play it anymore.
No, me either.
I played it when the rules were like SuperCoach in terms of the trading, and it was a lot better.
I played it once in a draft league, and then you kind of just gave up where you're that guy that's just no longer contributing.
There is the real dream team, but there's not enough players in that to make it.
Anyway, but I do like him. I think he's a great player. Plus, he's still young as well. So
and some interesting stats. So he did have a bit of a injury-ridden start to the year and missed 3 games. But he kicked things into gear in round 11, and he averaged 109.9 over the last 16 games. So that includes the finals. His actual final series, he averaged 119. He just turns up for big games. So harder opposition, he turns up for.
So what did he average then versus Dusty Martin for the back end of the year?
180. 180. No. He did go well in that game. I think he got 132 in that game.
Dusty averaged more though, right? Once you got rid of him.
Oh, yeah. So Dusty did, because in his last 4 games, he went
huge. Ham.
Yeah. But 110 over the last 16 games of the year, or 109.9, so 110. I think he's a unique against, say, a Zorko or a Merritt. So a lot of people are going to be running a Zorko or a Merritt. You could run an Adams for the same price, and all 3, I think, can go 110. Whether or not they do or not is different, and Adams' role could be impacted, but he still scores when he goes behind the ball. When he was behind the ball for a season, he averaged 107. So he's got the ability to do it. He'll play if he's fit. And that's the one knock on him, is that he's not always had the most reliable body.
Swizz, I think you mean crisp and not Cripps. So we said a flow on from that being Adams and Pendles going back.
Yeah,
Cripps
how does their role change?
Yeah. Well, not only that, you also look at Langdon as well. So that's in the next on my... I actually put Phillips in the premium list.
Yep.
Just because he was so impressive for at least the start of the year. He really came out and dominated. I know you considered him at one point.
He's good. He's really good.
He jumped up averages. Was very, very impressive. And he's just a gun runner.
I really hope that... I don't know what they did with his role, but it looked like he had a role change halfway through the year. So when I looked into his stats, from round 12 onwards, he did not have one single 30-possession game. Prior to round 12, he had 6. He was in career best form, and by a long stretch. And I think he was averaging around about 106, 107 during that period, and then dropped off a cliff. So whether or not that was a role change, someone came in, stole those minutes, whatever it was, it wasn't great. So yeah. Anyway, I do like Phillips. I think he's more one to watch, and definitely draft.
I think he's one to watch.
You can pick him up late in
draft. I'm 100% with you. Yep. One to watch. Crisp. I know he's a very good option, a premium defender option. Mm-hmm. He is 519k as a defender, especially when you compare him. We'll go with probably the 2 combined, I think, for this little segment here in Jeremy Howe.
Yep.
Who's 497k, did have shoulder surgery, I believe, training back after Christmas. So I think Jeremy Howe's probably a little bit more of the, considering his injury and lack of preseason. I know he's a good player.
Yep.
I just think that possibly with the kick-in rules and all the rest of it as well, I don't know how many kick-outs Crispy gets, but...
Not many.
But
Howe takes a lot more. But at the Pies, they share it because, I mean, it was Lyndon Dunn for ages, and then he'd done his knee. So then it was Scharenberg. Then he did his knee. Then it was Jeremy Howe. They do share it around.
But if you could pick a guy to run without bouncing 10 metres and to kick it as long as you can to a contest...
Jack Crisp.
Crisp.
Yep.
Yeah. It's got his name written all over it.
Long to a contest. Yeah. You're basically speaking about...
exactly.
I think that's Jack Crisp's own.
Exactly. So that makes me feel like maybe Crispy will then be able to, get explosive power from the goal square.
His mate Tom Langdon also likes a big...
he does.
But he doesn't really run that far. He's more just I got the ball and I'm just going to mark it. And
Langdon can't run that far anymore, not with the top knot.
Slows him down.
He's
no longer aerodynamic.
He needs horseback like a samurai. He can't run fast.
I love it. Look, Jack Crisp had a great year, had a really good year, better than I thought he was ever going to have. He had unfortunately, his highest score was a 128 in round 3, but then he had a 153 in the prelim against Richmond. So he had a fantastic final series, and I really rate it. What a cracker. But he only had five scores below 80 with 10 hundreds. So it's consistent. Again, probably going to be top 10 defender. Probably. But is that enough at 519k? You're going to just lock in someone that might be top 10?
Yeah, maybe not.
It's not going to happen. Especially with...
Draft, you could be pretty happy with.
Draft, yeah, I'd take him at draft.
Yeah.
Jeremy Howe actually got knocked out on 17 against Richmond in round 19, so his true average was 96.5. So he actually had a higher true average than Jack Crisp, but he's 20k cheaper. So you got a little bit of value there. I don't think he can really ever average 100 and push or push top
I think he's always going to be that 92 to 95.
It's got to be that 6 to 10.
Yep.
Again,
No, I'm with you.
And Tom Langdon I've got down here in my mid price. I don't think you can select Tom Langdon. Again, it's just he had a great final series. He averaged 92.75 over the 4 games, but I can't see him ever being a 90-plus averaging defender. 85 is pretty much where his cap is.
I'm with you. I think he's a great D5 in draft.
Yeah, draft option.
Or if it's a longer draft, maybe a D4. But yeah, you could pretty much expect him to get around an 80-odd. Give and take the ups and downs, but I think 80 average, I'd feel pretty happy with Langdon.
It also depends on his role, because defender. His highlight is peel off the defender, intercept mark. That's his highlight. Right? That's what he does.
Yep.
That's when he scores really well, is when he's got that role. If Pendles comes back, what is he doing? Because that's really where I see Pendles if he's going back. Reading the ball, intercepting the play. He's 193. He can take a mark. I don't know where I see it. So we'll see how that goes. But
yeah, I'm with you. So I had Langdon down as a mid-pricer for me. Not that great of an option, 416k compared to Williams, who's 400.
Yeah.
James H, funnily enough, I think is a good little draft option. Showed glimpses of some scoring potential.
Yeah,
that being
we
said,
had him in our 18-man league.
In our 18-man league. So I think he's definitely got potential. He's an outside player. So when you have a lot of inside guns and a lot of inside mids, he can definitely do a job on the outside.
The problem with him last year is that he got overtaken by Chris Mayne. So Chris Mayne played a better... they played the exact same role.
Yeah.
But he went down injured. Chris Mayne all of a sudden went... This is my role. Chris playing Mayne, on a wing and playing as a link player.
He can play a role though. He's like, this is what you want me to do. I'll lead up. I'll get a mark. I'll hit a target 30 meters down the track.
I also don't think
play move on.
Ace will start round 1.
Well, that's fair
because they just got too many like a Wells. If Wells is fit.
Oh, Wells, yeah, 100%. And nothing would make me happier than to see James H sit on the bench, to be honest. But look,
enjoy that. I hope you like playing in a grand final that you lost.
When he does play, though, he does do okay for a longer draft league. And then Jamie Elliott is the only other mid-pricer, 280k, who I would not have much of one in, except for DeGoey, but I put DeGoey more in the premium. Yeah, well, as in you're picking him to be a premium.
Yeah, he's not really valued at 476k.
476k, you wouldn't pick DeGoey as a stepping stone. You would pick DeGoey thinking he's going to be a 90.
Yeah, and there's no evidence that he'd need more midfield time.
Yeah,
I think he's
unless you're going to just rely on natural progression, you need actual.
Yeah. So again,
yes,
I think
and where do all the points go?
Decent draft option, but. I think someone else will pick him up before you get a chance.
Where do all the points go?
Yeah. The good news is this.
How many points are there?
I think pretty confident that Collingwood was the highest SuperCoach scoring team for the year. So they score more per game than any other team.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that. But then they've also got a lot of guns getting the ball.
That's true.
It's, neither here nor there. For me, I've got a draft special.
Yep.
Besides Tom Phillips, if you can get him, and Jamie Elliott, who could average you over 80.
Yep.
They're, I think, 100% awesome draft specials, particularly later on, even in an 18-man league. A Jamie Elliott, awesome option to go for that. Tom Phillips would be awesome, even as your last mid.
Yep.
I think, what do you end up averaging in the end? Like 90?
91, 92,
yeah. So, well, even as an M6 or something you can get away with in draft, I think he's a good option. My little draft smoky, not like it's a good option because Collingwood bat pretty deep as far as primos. Will Hoskin-Elliott.
He can hit a ton, hey?
Well,
that's the thing. He can just pull out of the box. He can hit a
ton. He gets the job done. He normally kicks a goal a game. He's a midfield forward now, forward mid, which then actually brings up his relevance.
Yep.
So as a midfielder only, not that great. He was averaging like 80 for a bit of the year. As a draft smoky though, Will Hoskin-Elliott as a forward mid, getting underneath and taking hangers over the top of Cox could actually do alright. So that's my little smoky option there. Could hit you a nice little 80 option. And one to watch, Daniel Wells. Not because you want him in your side, but because you want to see him go down like a sack of bricks. So just watch him.
Oh, and yeah, you can't choose him. Players to avoid, right? You've got to avoid him.
Yeah, in draft, bench option, but yeah, if he plays, he might get you an 80 odd. But yeah, more just to watch him because he's going to go down.
100%. I've just got here players to avoid. I would avoid Scott Pendlebury at this point, just with his unknown role, age, his trajectory downwards for the first time in his career.
Sorry, Chris.
Sharonberg's still injured, obviously coming back from ACL. Sam Murray's not going to play this year, so don't even think about him. And Jordan Roughhead. I don't think he's going to be in a role as conducive to Supercoach scoring.
I was actually going to say, side note, Chris, you wouldn't mind being Daniel Wells' missus though, right?
What was that?
He goes down with something new every week. That's what I was cracking up to myself.
We're editing that out of YouTube. We're editing that.
We can say that, can't we?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's
we're not
over the head.
No, we're not specifying.
Yeah, we're just like
you can bring home some new cutlery.
He gets new injuries.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means he's at home playing Fortnite.
We're talking about his injuries.
Pulling it Elliot.
For me, one to avoid is Levi Greenwood, 300k defender. Look, I understand it. Being a defender does make him appealing, except he hasn't been Supercoach relevant in about 3 years since he went to the Pies. He's too busy spending his overpriced contract to play Supercoach relevant.
He's not going to play this year.
To play Supercoach relevant?
He's not in the best 22. If you write a best 22 right now, Levi Greenwood does not make the cut.
Yep, unfair.
Which is an expensive bench player.
Well,
we need to get rid of these contracts. Next year, we need to go for Josh Kelly and get rid of Greenwood, get rid of Main, get rid of Wells. And all of a sudden, you've got $1.2 million a year to go after.
But then don't forget, it'll be less because Beams will be on more money per year as it gets on.
Yeah, maybe trade him next year. I'd rather have Kelly any day of the week.
You don't need another
new girlfriend's just staying
inside, mate.
Anyway. I thought we were in love, but actually I just really like the new kid on the block.
Anyway, so that's Collingwood. Let's see how they progress through the pre-season. Thank you again for having us, and we shall move on and hit up Essendon.
Yeah, on to the next one. Again, don't forget, if you're following the stream, you've probably heard this about 50 times, but follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/SC_insider, on Twitter at SC_insider_. Yes. Facebook at
Facebook.com/SuperCoach Insider, I believe. So I think you said SC Insider last time, but I'm pretty sure it's SuperCoach Insider.
Excellent.
No, at SC Insider.
Yeah, I know, I'm right.
Yeah, you're right.
And now on YouTube, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms. So thanks very much.
Boom, thank you.
Catch you guys.